The 2025 NBA Draft is here, so we're going to be looking at the top prospects the Raptors should be selecting with the 9th overall pick. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel that is completely dedicated to providing you with Toronto Raptors content in live streams like tonight. I'm going to be live for the first round of the NBA Draft tonight and the second round of the NBA Draft tomorrow, but we also do videos here on the channel, always dedicated to the Toronto Raptors. Make sure you do hit that like button if you enjoy along the way. Subscribe for more content just like it. It's the annual tradition here on the channel. It is the Raptors wish list video. I'm going to be listing my favorite prospects the Raptors could select and maybe should select with the 9th overall pick in the 2025 NBA entry draft. And this year, top of my list, we're not going to go in reverse order. Top of my list this year, the guy I want the Raptors to draft if he is available is Khaman Maluach. Now, there are a variety of other players that look they could be unlikely candidates to fall to 9th overall, and if they are, then maybe we go with them instead. But in the realistic scenarios, there is a pathway for Maluach to fall all the way to 9th in the draft, and if he does fall to this spot, that is going to be the top guy at my list. Massive center, big wingspan, a good degree of athleticism to go with that size. I think Maluach in this spot is likely to be the most talented player available, and he also happens to be just a fantastic fit for the Raptors. This is not a player that's going to be coming in right away and being your starting center, but like a perfect backup option to Jakob Poeltl 100%. Big-time shot blocker, can seriously anchor a defense, good finisher on the interior, and even though there are some certain elements of his game that could stand to clean up, like maybe a little bit better with his footwork, a little bit better with his lateral quickness. Is there a way to translate this interior-oriented offensive game a little bit more to perimeter? We shall see, but there's so much upside for an already talented player here. I would be so happy if the Raptors were able to land Khaman Maluach with the 9th overall pick. Second on my list, in my wish list, and I think this is the more realistic option to be available at number 9. Not that I think it's unrealistic for Maluach to be available at the 9th overall pick. I just think at this point, I'll make the call and say this is who I believe the Raptors will be selecting on draft night, because I don't think Maluach will be available, and that is going to be Noa Essengue. Big time fan of this player. Lots to like about the athleticism, lots to like about his height and his length. Like, his standing reach is fantastic. It's equivalent to that of a center. Not many centers in the NBA draft have a longer standing reach than Noa Essengue. One of those players is actually Khaman Maluach, but like alongside this size, like super gifted athlete with a lot of decent traits to go in his game as well. Uses his body really well to finish on the interior. Draws so many fouls on offense, which is fantastic for his efficiency, and is a really good defender who trends upwards as a player with a great degree of switchability in those areas. And there's just so many great tools. Like, any weakness that he has in his game is something that can scale up. There's not one thing you think, well, that's never going to come. There are so many different elements of the game that can scale up. Fantastic switchable defender, good finisher on the inside. What is going to make or break his NBA career? And I think already the floor for Essengue, the fact that he's a good defender, he's going to be able to contribute in the NBA. But if he can develop some self-creation on offense or a knockdown three-point shot on open threes, he's going to be a great player. If he develops both of those things, he's going to be a fantastic player. And the reason I believe that this is the most likely option for the Raptors in this spot, Noa Essengue actually was in the middle of the finals of the Bundesliga season in Germany. His team, Lazio Farm Ulm, were 2-1 up against Bayern Munich in a best-of-5 series, so they were only one win away from the championship, but he left early to go to the NBA draft, and according to a lot of reports, despite the fact that he did not work out with any teams, he held a secret private workout with the Raptors. And on top of that, when he was asked about the type of players in the NBA that he wants to kind of mold his game around, he listed Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and Kawhi Leonard, 3 former Raptors players. Interesting for him to name those players. Interesting for him to leave the Bundesliga season early to have a private workout for the Raptors, then go to New York to attend all of the green room activities and festivities going on for the draft. It's feeling like Noa Essengue may be destined to join the Raptors. We shall see. Third on my list, and this is the player I believe If it's not Maluach, if it's not a song, it's going to be this player. I'm fairly confident that the Raptors are drafting one of these three players, and the third player on the list is Carter Bryant. Just did a full video about this player, but it's, again, a very good athlete with good size and good wingspan who can defend multiple positions defensively, like can really trend upwards as a player who can be a real defensive stopper in a lot of different roles on that end of the floor. And he's also showcased to be a good three-point shooter. And this is just the exact type of player that so many NBA teams are looking for. They are looking for this 3-and-D style of player, so why not go out and get him in the draft? Like, there's already a pretty good floor with the level of defense, already a pretty good floor with the level of shooting, if that is sustainable for the NBA. And there's a lot of upside, a lot of tools to take his game to different heights, like in the upper end of what he could achieve. Like, we're looking at potentially somebody who could replicate what Kawhi Leonard is doing, but that's like an extremely low percentage of like players that can get to that level, but that's the type of skill that he has. What's more likely is like kind of looking at somebody who's more Trey Murphy-esque or even OG Anunoby-esque, and I think Carter Bryant can get to those levels, and that just fits in with any team in the NBA, and it's something the Raptors absolutely need with their team. Still a little bit raw as a prospect and had a pretty small sample size to work off of from college, but if the workouts went well, there was a lot to like about Carter Bryant. I think this would be a good pick for the Raptors. Important to note, he's a player who actually did not work out for the Raptors, but that doesn't always mean everything, because last year the Raptors selected Jacoby Walter with the 19th overall pick. Jacoby Walter did not work out with the Raptors, so we shall see. The rest of the players on the list here are players that I'd be fine to take, but I don't really believe that we're going to be going into these areas here. Number 4 on my list is Kasparas Jakucionis. A guard with a decent amount of size, decent amount of playmaking, and I think that's somebody who could help the Raptors 100%. It's just not going to be as high on my list for the players I would really like Khaman Maluach, Noa Essengue, and maybe to a slightly lesser degree for those two players, Carter Bryant as well. But because Kasparas Jakucionis would be a very interesting player for the Raptors to take on to add to their guard depth overall, and I think it'd be a pretty good fit with the rest of the players on the team. Also on the list, number 5 is Asa Newell. A lot of athleticism, good amount of size defensively, has that degree of switchability on defense, and also presents a high degree of talent in the finishing department on offense. Really good catch radius to throw down lobs, plays above the rim, bouncy player in those areas. Not somebody who's trending as upwards as a perimeter player on offense, but I think like a solid fit overall for the Raptors if they really wanted to reach here. Don't think he's projected to go in this area, but the Raptors wanted to reach. I would be okay with it. Derik Queen is number 6 on my list, and it's strange because I think a lot of people have Derik Queen a lot higher. Just looking into Derik Queen a lot, there's just something about him that doesn't do it for me. Whatever about Derik Queen does it for you that makes you really interested in the player, you let me know in the comments down below. But for me, there's talent here on offense for sure. But for Derik Queen to succeed in the NBA, he would really have to be your offensive hub as a center, which means like he'd have to get really good to be a factor in the NBA. On the lower end for Derik Queen, he's not a great defender in space. He's not a good rim protector. Doesn't trend upwards seemingly as a perimeter threat on offense. It's a very interior-oriented player who struggled with all of the athletic tests at the draft combine. You got to have, if you're not going to be super athletic, you got to be able to defend the rim, I think. And Derik Queen is not somebody who's able to do that, nor is he able to spread the floor on offense. So for me, yes, if the Raptors believe he can be that offensive hub of the center, then go for it. I'll support it. But if they don't believe that, then there are better options that I've listed here. Last player on the list, this would be quite a bit of a reach. Number 7 on my list is Egor Denim. Yeah, it seems like the highest he could go in the draft is that number 9. Because, look, it's not every day you find a 6'9+ point guard who's a decent playmaker. That would be a really nice player to work with and shape. And I think that Egor Denim can be a good player. It's just that there are a lot of players I'd rather take the gamble on than him. I wouldn't be necessarily disappointed with taking him. I'd be excited. I would relish the opportunity to see Egor Denim develop with the Raptors. It's just there are a lot of other players I would rather take that shot on. And I would be very hard-pressed to believe that, I find it pretty surprising if Maluach and Essengue aren't available at number 9. I think one of those two will be available. The only thing that would change that is if the Pelicans take Maluach at number 7. And then there's apparently some interest from Brooklyn at number 8 to take a song. But I think it's mostly Brooklyn has interest. It's just where that interest falls because they have a lot of picks in the first round. Would that interest fall to number 8? I'm not so sure. If it does, Carter Bryant's going to be available at 9, and that's the player I believe the Raptors should take. So there you have it. There's my wish list. Those are the 7 players that I would be happy with, I think, if the Raptors drafted. Now, there are players, again, who are projected further up. Like, hey, if Jeremiah Fears falls all the way down to 9, all of a sudden, that might be the top of my list at the time of the selection. We shall see. These are players I think there is at least somewhat, but like very realistic chance at least that the Raptors will have the opportunity to select at number 9. I'm very happy with Maluach or Essengue, and I think one of those two guys ending up at Toronto. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below.